Hello, Stan from GPT for Sheets, and I'm going to present our new sidebar. So when you launch the add-on, now you have the choice to click on Launch Sidebar. And when you do that, it will open a sidebar to the right with a whole set of new features. The first thing you see here is a status bar that tells you whether OpenAI is slow or fast with the model that you chose. So here I have chosen GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is the ChatGPT model, and as you can see, it is orange and red. The orange is for paid OpenAI accounts, so 5 seconds, whereas the red is for free trial OpenAI accounts, 27 seconds. And 27 seconds is very, very, very slow. It means every time you input a function like GPT say hi, on average, it would take 27 seconds if you were on a free trial account. Here I'm on a paid account, so it's faster. So this will help you choose a model that is fast enough for what you want. And for example, if you could choose Text DaVinci 003, which has comparable quality to ChatGPT, and it will be much faster. You can also try GPT-4, but at this speed, the unfortunate thing is it might time out. So we've developed this basically to help you select a model that is fast enough for Google Sheets and for your use case. We've also made a detailed chart that helps you see the past response time in the past 48 hours, basically, of the various models, so that you can have an idea of if the current response time is an anomaly or not. Okay, but back to the sidebar. So we've got this little tracking dashboard here, response time tracking dashboard. And if I want to change the model, it's very easy. I can just go here and select the model I want. Note that we will make it easier. We will make it possible so that you can select from here. This will come very soon. It has been a slight oversight, but we've released nonetheless. And so now one of the big new feature is that before, so if you wanted to configure some parameters, you had to put everything in the function. So the temperature, the max tokens, the model could be quite painful. So now these settings are actually configurable from here, so that once you configure them from here, they will apply to all the functions, all the executions, unless you specify the model inside the function, the parameter inside the function. So it's a global setting that will apply to all executions. So this should really help you. Basically. So for example, let's type this, write a tagline for an ice cream shop. So this is the prompt, the perennial demo prompt. And now let's do GPT of this prompt. Okay. So now so this is basically with 0 temperature. Now, if I want it to be more creative, so to have, I put temperature to 1, I can run it again. So I will copy it and as you can see, it is now more creative. So that's great. You can change the model from here, and you can change the temperature and the max tokens. Okay. The other thing that is really nice is you now have access to the list of GPT functions, all the functions that we have. So before, you had to go to our website. You had to go, oops, this is not it. You had to go to GPT4work.com, and then here to know about all our functions. but now you know about all of them from here. So for example, if you wanted to try out GPT fill, you can see what it is, and you have a link to the documentation, to an example, and to a video. And you can even insert an example. So for example, I click here, then I do insert example. Sorry. And there we go. I've got my example here that I can play with. For others, so for example, GPT list, I can simply copy here and paste. And there we go. So now I can actually go back to default settings, and let's say that I want to use DaVinci with 0 temperature. It will be much more boring, I think. So I can paste it again. And there we go. Okay. So I think this should help you understand all the features, all the functions that we have. For example, GPT classify. You can copy this, paste it here, and there we go. And I can click directly on the documentation to see what I can do with it. And actually it's not up to date because there is an examples parameter that is not documented here. So I will change this. Same, in fact, for GPT tag, there should be the examples parameter. Okay. So what else do we have? Save results. So one, there is, before the sidebar, we already had some features here. Here, manage cache, replace GPT formulas. That will gradually disappear from here because they're now available from here. So you can replace the first new, actually something that is completely new is that you can, we record the active formulas that are in the current sheets here, and this is refreshed frequently, and you can click show, and it will highlight all the cells that contain a formula. So this can be helpful as you build out your spreadsheets. And if you want to replace your formula so that they do not get reloaded. So let's say that I want to replace this one here. So you can either replace in selection or you can replace in the entire sheet. So if so you have to be careful with replacement, because if you replace a formula that outputs in a single cell, such as this one here, you can replace just in the selection and it will work. Now this is just text, whereas before it was a formula. You can always undo, right? So now I will redo, and as you can see, this will change. Okay. Now, so I'll show this. I'll show, now we have only 6, so that worked. Let's say that I want to replace multiple ones at once. So I can select all of this and it will replace all the formulas here. So replace in selection. Okay. As you can see, there is no formula anymore here. So I can just, and now we have 4. So now let's say I wanted to replace, as you can see, this formula gave me 5 rows of results as I wanted. For this, if I want to replace, I need to be careful and select the whole output range. So in this case, if I just replace this, it will unfortunately just replace keep the first row. This is because it is really hard to know if a formula overflows one cell and outputs into multiple cells, how many cells are actually in the result. We do not know that. So I will undo, and now we will get 5 rows again. Okay. So what I need to do if I want to keep all the content is I can, actually it don't have to be super precise, but I need to select all of it. So now if I replace in selection, it works. And now I have my 5 results in raw text, so I can work with that. So as you can see, I still have 3 formula. This one, and this one. And if I don't want to keep any of the formulas, it's very easy. I can just replace in the entire sheet, and it will replace everything. And this way, you cannot make any mistakes. And now, whether the formula is output into one cell or multiple cells, it doesn't matter. Okay, manage cache or enable caching, as it is written here, is the same as the manage cache feature that you used to have in here. If I click here, it used to open a pop-up. This will gradually disappear. And so basically this means that if I repeat the same formula, it will hit short-term cache. So we basically save the answer in the spreadsheet so that we can give it to you again. And not hit OpenAI, so that you don't get a different answer and you don't incur more cost. So for example, let's say that I go back here and I put as you can see, it is loading and it takes time, because it is again fetching from OpenAI. If I wanted to get the same answers no matter what, I would enable the cache. And it will work for 6 hours roughly, can sometimes be a little less. So I encourage you to enable it almost all the time, unless you want some variety. Let me show you what I mean by this. Say that, so I will disable it for now, and say that I do equal GPT, write a tagline for an ice cream shop, and okay, I'll put some temperature in this way. Okay. So now, if I drag this down, I should get a different one every time. Okay, there we go, a different one. But if I enable the cache, and I continue to drag, okay, maybe it just needs a bit of time to kick in. 1 second. Let's try again. Okay, there we go. Just took a bit of time, and basically this is the last one it remembered here, and so you will get. So be careful. Just wait a few seconds after you have selected this, so that you make sure it works. And now, if so the interesting thing is, let's say that I delete all of this at once, and now I bring it back by undoing. It will load, and there we go. I get the last answer to the same question for all of those. Okay. If I disable it again, wait a few seconds to make sure it's active, and I continue to drag, I should start getting new answers. Yeah, there we go. And now I want to replace everything. I have 27 formulas, so I replace in the entire sheet. And there we go, no more formulas anywhere. Okay, we are going to, oh, I almost forgot. We've got some new features here. So generate a formula and explain a formula, which are two sides of the same coin. So basically this is a Google Sheets assistant. So it helps you create formulas, Google Sheets formulas, or explain them. So let's say that I want to replace text that contains the word spreadsheets by, let's say, Excel. I'll click here, and it gives me a formula that I would have maybe not known to create by myself. So I can either insert in the active cell or copy. Here I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste it here. So as you can see, of course, I get nothing because it's working with A1. If I want, I can change that, of course. So I can take a cell like H10 here that contains the word spreadsheets, and I will put H10 here. And there you go. Get organized with Excel. So as you can see, it works pretty well. It went from get organized with spreadsheets. So quite nice. If you get a complicated formula like this one, you don't know what it does, you can also use the reverse feature, explain formula. So here I will get from active cell. As you can see, it correctly inserted the formula that is behind this cell, and I click explain formula, and I get an explanation in plain English. Note that here, when I created the formula, since I did not specify any cell or range, it assumed A1. But if I wanted to be more precise and include, I would say replace, we could say in cell H10 through, let's be through H15, replace. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, so it understood H10, but it did not understand H10 through H5. So let's, oh yeah, because I said in a cell, so this is why it got confused. So in range, basically you've got to be helpful in describing what you want. You've got to be precise, exactly if you were talking to let's say an intern. So in range H10 through H15, replace text. Okay, generate. And there we go. So now I will copy this and paste it here. And let's see what I get. It does not work. And array value cannot be found. So I guess my description is not good, or the feature is not perfect yet. Is probably the case. But as you can see, yeah, we will make it better. I will report this bug, and we will try to make it better. But nonetheless, it did work for the first example, and it actually works for some other examples. So please try it and comment, and send us bug reports. Happy to try and make this feature better. Okay, I will stop the video here. It's already quite long. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be aware of new videos.